Hi there. Hope you all are doing well. Um, so, today, just giving you a little bit of warning, I won't be demonstrating as beautifully as I would hope. I'm still dealing with a sore throat, but we forge on. The show goes on. So, today, we're talking about tips specifically for singers who consider themselves a loud singer and tips for singers who consider themselves quiet or having soft voices. I'm gonna start with quiet singers because I think there are more of us out there that kind of think, "Oh, I'm maybe a little bit on the shyer side. My speaking voice is quiet, and I find that my singing voice is also quiet and maybe not as strong as I would like." So I will go over all the things I want to talk about, and then we'll go back with specific exercises to try. So all the reasons your singing voice might be quieter than you want it to be. First is just using a low volume overall. And I find that that has more to do with your feelings about singing than the actual mechanics of your voice. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. Another reason you might be quieter than you want to be is too little breath energy, or what some voice teachers might call breath support. Another reason would be that we're under compressing the vocal folds. The vocal folds come together to vibrate, and that's what creates the sound wave. Um, so when you are singing, if you have this constantly breathy, ah, you're under singing, you're not using your full voice. That could be another reason. Hi, Nick. Hi, Carl. Another reason that some singers tend to be quieter than they want is they kind of narrow their vowels. So instead of singing, let's say, ah, they might sing, ah. That's more common, I would say, for singers with a classical or choral background. So if that's you, that's something to watch out for. Last few reasons, and then we're going to go back. Lack of access or connection to your chest or your speaking voice. So, if when you're singing, it feels like you're always in head voice, ah, you are not using your full voice's potential. Um, and then, oh, we'll go over a few specific exercises to find some more balance, and then just a piece of general advice again before we go back is don't be afraid, quiet singers, of keeping your foot on the gas, so to speak. Just because your voice wants to flip into head voice or maybe wants to go quiet doesn't mean that it has to. So rewinding now, and we're going to talk about quiet singers for a while, and then we'll go to loud singers. And essentially, each of the issues I covered, the problem that the loud singer has is pretty much opposite. So, quiet singers, first issue, low volume overall. My biggest tip for you, if you find that you're just constantly under singing or singing quietly, is to find time and space to sing without an audience. Even if you have time and space alone in a room, if there are other people in the house, you might be under singing and kind of protecting yourself from judgment from those people. Um, and that's just not a good way to practice. We have to give ourselves permission to make sounds, sometimes weird sounds, sometimes ugly sounds, but certainly we need freedom to experiment. We need freedom to make noise. So, whatever you need to do to get that, maybe it's going into the garage, maybe it's waiting until your family members or your roommates are away. But please, please carve out space and time for yourself where you're not having to worry about what other people think about your sound. We pass enough judgment on our own voices. We don't also need to deal with judgment from other people, right? Um, so I also want to address the fact that people do have differently sized voices. I mean, literally, our vocal folds are different sizes, our faces, our bone structure, you might have a softer or quieter voice overall, and there is nothing wrong with that. When I'm talking to quiet singers, I'm not saying every quiet singer needs to transform themselves into this loud belter. I'm not saying that at all. However, just because you have a quieter speaking voice doesn't mean you're not capable of making some very loud sounds. We all have a dynamic range. I consider myself a quieter singer. I don't very easily get super loud. Belting is not something that comes super easily to me. It's something I work on. Um, Whereas other singers, they're just loud and it's hard for them to be quiet. It's hard for them to kind of rein their voice in. So differences do exist, but we all do have a dynamic range that we can sing within. And so the goal is really finding your quiet and your loud, regardless of how that compares to another singer. Okay, so recap. Find time and space where you can be alone to sing. However, you do that, it's very, very important that you do that. Second, if you're quieter than you want to be, perhaps we're using too little breath energy or support from our body. So we want to find some resistance with something like a strong hiss and then transfer that to a hum or a pulsing exercise. So try this with me. We're going to place our hands on our rib cage first. I want you to inhale and then hiss, but make it a strong hiss, not a weak little that's not going to do anything. I need it to be where you feel your body go woof and you feel those muscles engage in some way. Okay, so hands are on your ribs. These are the muscles that we're feeling primarily. Those are your intercostals or the muscles between your ribs. So, nice strong hiss. Feel how those muscles flex a little bit or turn on when you strongly hiss. Exhale. Feel that? Okay. Second, I want you to put a hand right below your belly button. So, this is your low abdomen. Find your belly button and then go just right below that and do the same thing on a hiss and notice what you feel. Again, make it a strong hiss. What I feel, and just for comparison, because maybe you don't know what would happen if you weren't hissing, just inhale, exhale, and feel your low belly. So, what happens when we inhale and exhale naturally is those muscles that expanded, they just contract back or they relax, your body collapses. Not so when you hiss, right? When we're doing that strong hiss, your intercostal muscles are staying kind of flexed and engaged. The same thing is happening with your low belly right below your belly button. Okay. So that same engagement, when we hiss, we want to retain that when we sing. That's our way of controlling our airflow. If we don't do that, one of the things that happens, quiet singers, is that you have all of this breath that's rushing up to the vocal folds, and your vocal folds just kind of get out of the way. They're like, "Oh boy, that's a lot of breath pressure. I'm just gonna kind of stay apart." And then we get this really breathy tone. We run out of air in a second and we don't have a strong sound either. Okay, so we're going to go from a strong hiss to a hum. But I want you to keep one hand on your rib cage and one hand on your low belly. That's a stronger sound than if I just really relaxed go. Try it again. Strong hiss to a hum. And remember, our kind of phrase we might return to a little bit is keeping your foot on the gas. Good. So if you are a quiet singer, you should be like, oh, wow, that's more sound than I usually make. Okay, another way we can do that is to pulse on a hiss to engage those muscles and then to sustain. So let's go hiss, 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 and then e. So all together, it'll look like this. S, 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 s. he. And that same pulse that you're feeling every time you hiss, I want you to feel that pulse at the very onset of your he. Okay? It's not gonna do us any good if we go s s s s he. No, I want you to pulse, feel all of that engagement, and then he, or ho, 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 like Santa Claus with your belly pulsing. Okay, try that. By the way, I'm singing a random pitch. You don't have to sing the same pitch I'm singing. Just sing whatever's comfortable for you. Again, we're going hiss, 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 and then he. You could also go s, s, he, s, s, he. Again, just working on that onset. We're pairing um, our breath and the engagement of our breathing muscles to our sound making. It's very, very important. And when you do some focused work like this for a while, or if you do some focused work like this for a while, it'll start to be second nature. I don't have to think about doing this anymore, um, which is nice. Okay, so try that with me. Either he, s, or try just that pulse and then sustain. He. Good. This is also training you to feel um to feel what it feels like when your breathing muscles are helping you and you're not having to push from your throat. In fact, we're not thinking of our throat at all. Um so that's really the goal, is that our breathing muscles, our body is helping to control that airflow and to help us hold that air back. Um, as a result, your vocal folds can close over nicely. They're not overwhelmed by all that extra air. They're also not over compressing to hold that air back. Okay, speaking of compression, we might be under compressing, meaning singing with this weak, breathy, kind of sound. Um, if that's you, I would recommend using exercises with plosives, meaning b sounds or g sounds or even p sounds. So rather than singing, ah, it's just too easy to leak air that way if you're a quiet singer with this issue. So add a consonant at the start. Ba 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 ba, or even go 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 go. That way you don't have to worry about compression. The consonant is taking care of it for you. The last thing I want is for you to just think, oh, I need to try harder and squeeze something in my throat. No. Um, Use a consonant that is taking care of that for you, that's helping you hold that air back. Once you feel that and you feel like, okay, that's the amount of volume that I can sing with, that's what it feels like, then you can go to any other voiced consonant for just medium support. So I would say that a g sound or a b sound is a lot of support, meaning it's like training wheels. So if you want to loosen those training wheels, try instead a voiced consonant. What I mean by that is a consonant that your vocal folds are active for. So something like an notice there's pitch to that. Or an N, even an L, a V, a Z, z. Okay, all of these are consonant sounds that your vocal folds are active for. Examples of unvoiced or non-voiced consonants would be like a p, p. There's no pitch there, or a k, k, s, s, things like that. Um, okay, so basically any exercise, and I'll get to a few questions right now. Um, any exercise where you feel like your tone is overly breathy and soft, rather than singing on a vowel, just add a consonant in there. So instead of ah, make it ga or ma or na. Okay, answering a few questions real quick. And by the way, if you're new here, um, I will reserve the last 15 minutes just for Q&A, so that will be there for you. Um, Layla, don't worry. you need your sleep, and this live lesson will be here later. So, yes, we're live, and, it'll stay on YouTube, though, so if you need to go at any point, no worries, you'll be able to find it on the channel later. Angelica is asking, "Hi, oversang uh, the other day, a few days ago. Any tips to help me get back on track?" Sure. So if you feel like you oversang, meaning, sang for too long or too hard, too heavy, the best thing that you can do right off the bat is just giving yourself some vocal rest. But since a few days have gone by, if you feel that you are ready to return to some vocalization, I would just prioritize gentle vocalization. So the gentlest sounds we can make are ones that are semi-closed. So examples of that would be singing through a straw. That's a great one for healing the vocal folds, giving a chance for that swelling to go down. Especially if you don't have a straw, then something like a lip trill or an NG even. And keeping the volume kind of medium to quiet, I would say. No need to push for a lot of volume right now. Um, I would also stay in a range that feels comfortable for your voice. There's no need to be going to the extremes or challenging yourself in any way, but just yeah, gentle vocalization in an easy comfortable range. As that swelling goes down, hopefully you're feeling better and um can get back to more of your, regular routine. Okay. And Sheila, thank you. Aw, thank you. Wishing me good healing as well. All right, my friends. So we might be under compressing. We talked about using consonants to help with that. Another thing that might be going on if we're quieter than we want to be is narrow vowels. So I mentioned before, if you have a choral or classical background, so especially if you grew up doing choir, I mean like kind of classical choir, you did a lot of singing like, ooh, those kind of sounds. If you were in show choir, different story. If you were in gospel choir, different story, different sound. But if you were in kind of like classical high school choir, um, oftentimes you're encouraged to have very round, pure, dark vowel sounds. And if you're a choir person, you know what I'm talking about. Um, that puts your voice in more of a head voice condition. Um, What I mean by that is if I sing on a rounded, dark vowel like an ooh, it allows me to get into head voice very easily. Your choir teacher probably did not have you singing very often on yeah, because that does not allow you to get into head voice very easily. Um, if you have that choral or classical background, though, it might just be a habit that you're narrowing and darkening your vowels without even intending to. And that could be causing you to sing with a quieter sound, and sometimes flipping into head voice, maybe when you're not meaning to. So, if that's you, if you're like, oh, maybe that's my problem, um, be aware of that and consider vocalizing on slightly wider vowels. So rather than always doing your vocalization or your warm ups on sounds like ooh, oh, ah, try some brighter sounds like ma. I know it doesn't sound as beautiful, um, but it can get you used to a slightly chestier, slightly louder sound. And again, we're not pushing for that. All we did was just change the vowel. I'm not trying to sing louder. It's just the vowel that is helping. And you can try that for yourself. Give a little slide on an ooh, a really closed, narrow ooh. Okay. And now try this wide, bright, flat American ah, like you're saying yeah, or cat, or map. Ah. It was way louder. The sound was what we would say brighter. Um, but we didn't have to push or anything to get that to happen. Okay, another thing that could be going on, lack of access or connection to your chest voice. This is you if you feel like the entire time you sing, you're in head voice. And again, this is probably more common with choral and classical singers simply because in choral and classical music, head voice is just more utilized. In pop music, less so. So if that's you, it's fine. It's fine, but just know that your chest voice, your speaking voice is a whole nother mode and a whole nother um, part of your range that may just be underutilized and underworked at this point. So, what I recommend for you, if you think that's you, is starting your practice, starting your warm up with just some speaking on pitch. So, for you, I would not go straight into those ooh kind of sounds. I would get myself set first with a go, 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 or ma, 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 ma. It doesn't sound as pretty. That's okay. We're not really going for beauty. We're going for strength and tapping into our chest or speaking voice. Um, so yeah, I would do that. And once you've warmed up and kind of woken up your speaking voice on pitch, or in other words, your chest voice, same thing, then I might start to go into those wider range or even semi closed exercises. That way, you are starting in chest voice and then transitioning into head voice and coming back into chest voice. For example, going, ooh, as opposed to, ooh, where I'm in head voice the whole time and I'm not training any type of strength really. I hope that made sense. Other thing to do, if you feel like you have not a lot of connection to your chest or speaking voice, is to do exercises that are bottom up. So instead of singing wee, 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 that's going to encourage you to carry that head voice down. Instead, start on the bottom. Bup, 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 bup. Sorry, I had a problem finding my pitch there. Anyways, hope you get the point. Rather than top down, bottom up, because then you're starting in chest or speaking voice, and then you're carrying some of that strength as you ascend. Okay, last thing, and then I'm gonna get to loud singers. Let me know if you're here live and you're like, I am a quiet singer, or I am a loud singer, or maybe I don't know what I am, or I am a perfectly balanced singer and I don't even know why I'm watching this because I'm the best. um, okay, so last few things for generally quiet singers to help find more of a balance. There's almost nothing better than bratty sounds for you. Um, I know they're annoying, and I'm telling you, when I am working with a quiet singer, I tell them multiple times, "Annoy me. Please try to annoy me right now," because they try to sing pretty. So I'll give them an exercise like "nay, nay, 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 nay," or something like that, and they're going "nay, nay, 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 nay," and it's beautiful, and that is not at all what I wanted. So, that bratty sound, it's really useful in getting your vocal folds together, helping you access some of that brightness and chesty quality. So, exercises like nay, nah, um, and then once you're comfortable on that, then you can start to move toward more of what we would call a finished sound. So from nah to nah to nah, and doing that on any pattern you please. Um, okay, very cool. So Karen or Karen or Karen, loud singers, we're on to you now. So same as before, I'm going to just outline all the things we're going to talk about and then go back. So loud singers, some issues you might be having when you're singing loudly all the time and you don't intend to. First, high volume overall. Just always you're like pedal to the metal, I'm singing and I'm loud. Second, pushing a lot of air. Some singers have the false idea that they need to physically push air out of their lungs to the vocal folds. Um, Third, over squeezing, over compressing with the throat, and even holding air back. Um, it's this delicate balance that's kind of difficult to describe. We are using our air. It's both things are happening. We're controlling the flow of air like we did earlier with the hiss, but we are still using it. So if you feel like, huh, I have to hold all my air back so it doesn't run out, that's just going to give you this very constipated sound, honestly. Um, Okay, fourth, overly wide vowels. If you're a loud singer and your mouth is going like, ah, and you just can't get your mouth wide enough for the pitch that you're trying to sing, that's a problem or could be a problem. Next, lack of access or connection to your head voice. So, this is the opposite problem the quiet singers had. If all you use is chest voice, and you're never accessing your head voice, that could be the issue, my friends. General advice for loud singers: if you're struggling with a high note, is to first find that pitch in head voice and then work toward more balance. But be able to sing that pitch in head voice first. It will not work if you're just pushing, squeezing, trying to get it in chest voice, falling flat, straining, cracking. Um, take another approach. Find that pitch in head voice and then go back. Okay, so rewind, high volume overall, and let me address just a few things. So Nick was saying I describe myself as a loud singer, belting is my strong point. Awesome. And welcome, Adina. Welcome. We're talking about specific tips for you if you consider yourself a quieter singer or a louder singer. And the last 15 minutes are just Q&A. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat at any point, but just know that I'll get to all of them at the end. All right, loud singers. If you find that you're singing at a high volume overall and you just can't not do that, what I would recommend for you is that you drop the lyrics of the song that you're singing, or you drop the syllable of the warm up exercise that you're doing, and you sing instead on something semi closed. There's probably nothing better for you than straw singing because you simply cannot sing loudly through a straw. um, Straw singing, if you're unfamiliar, I do have a fancy straw right here. Um, Let me see if I have a non-fancy straw. I do. So a drinking straw is all you need to get started, and some water. This is salt water that I was intending to gargle for my sore throat, but hey, we'll use it. We're not drinking it. So take your drinking straw, submerge it in water. So hopefully your cup of water is like halfway filled or less, because we are going to be blowing bubbles, and we don't want to get water everywhere. So you're just making noise into the straw. But we have this cup of water to ensure that we're doing it correctly. If I submerge the straw in water and I have sound and bubbles at the same time, then I'm doing it correctly. The bubbles show me that I am moving air through the straw and I'm not just humming like this. That's not going to do as much for me. All right. So if you've never tried straw singing, try it, especially if you are a loud singer. Um, Other semi closed or semi occluded exercises that would be good for you to help find some more balance would be singing on an NG, like the end of the word sing. Um, but get in the habit of warming up on semi closed exercises and feeling like memorize the feeling of how much effort it's taking you, And then try to use that same amount of effort when you then transfer back to an open exercise or a song. Obviously, if you're singing something high intensity, belty, probably the effort is going to be a little bit higher than singing through a straw. However, um, sometimes when you're a loud singer or when you're just used to singing loudly, you're kind of in the habit of using more effort than is necessary in general. So, if you can find balance and ease, let's say singing on that NG, and feel how easy that is, then try it on an E. E with no extra volume or pushing. Ah, and see if you can catch yourself you know, getting back into maybe an old habit. Use training wheels. Go slowly. Okay, related issue, pushing a lot of air. Um, if you feel like, or if you have the belief that in order to make a loud, strong sound, you need to push a lot of air at the vocal folds, that is incorrect. Um, I think where that belief comes from is, um, well, maybe if you played an instrument, like for example, if you played trumpet, then you would know in order to play a higher pitch, you do have to exert a lot more pressure. You have to use faster air through that mouthpiece, and it's difficult. Like it is difficult. Um, Singing does not work in the same way. And usually, when a higher pitch does require more air pressure, that air pressure does not come from us pushing or forcing that air out of our throat. It usually comes from us engaging with our belly a little bit more strongly. So, an example would be if you're singing medium volume and then you go, and you feel your belly respond. You feel your belly push out a little bit. That's the feeling, not where I'm squeezing and pushing air at the vocal folds. Um, okay, so if you feel like that's you, that you have the tendency to push a lot of air, I would use sounds that require consistent, steady airflow and let your vocal folds take the air that they need. So, one example would be singing on a z, or a V sound, or a lip trill. That's why I love the lip trill. Um, and seeing how little effort you can use to keep that sound going. It doesn't have to be right. Um, so another related issue would be over squeezing within your throat and maybe even holding your air back to the point that you sound maybe a little bit constipated when you sing. Um, I'm sorry if that offends you, but there's just no better way for me to describe it. Um, if you feel like that's you, that you feel effort in your throat, you feel your throat getting sore and tired really easily when you sing, this could be part of the issue. I would use syllables that start with airflow. So for a singer like you, I would not be using things like "g" or "b." Quiet singers, that's probably helpful for you, but if I'm already over compressing and then I go "gug, gug, gug," oh, no. That's just way more work that I need. So rather, I would use, like I said, consonants that start with airflow. So think TH sound. Thooey, or an SH sound. Sha, 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 or an S. Sa, or an H. Ooh. Okay, I'm just kind of singing random things, but you're hearing the consonant in order to make that consonant sound, I have to have my air flowing. I can't be squeezed and overcompressed. So that gets you off on the right foot right away. Um, Let me answer a few questions before I get back. Can you sing lower if you sing quieter? That's a good question, and I think it's singer dependent. For me personally, yes, my lowest pitches that I can sing are on the quieter side. I cannot sing super loud and super low. Um, but I can't really speak for all singers because I can think of some basses, some like, booming basses whose low notes are very, very rich and full and loud. Um, but I would still say that in general, lower pitch, lower frequency in general is also going to have lower amplitude or volume or dynamic. Um, just typically, that's the way things go. We yell higher in our range for a reason. We don't go, "Hey guys." We go, "Hey guys." Um, okay. Benicio, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, is asking, when I sing, my voice never sounds the way I want it to. What should I do? That is such a general question. I can relate to what you're saying, but can you be more specific? Can you identify what exactly you're wanting and then what it is that you're getting instead? Okay, so loud singers, you might be over squeezing. You also might be widening your vowels. Um, so if you find that the higher you sing, the wider your mouth gets, and then it just gets uncontrollable and shouty, I would first warm up on narrower vowels throughout your range. So instead of singing on a, right, I might sing on ooh, and then I would gradually open. So you could go from a really closed ooh to a slightly more open as in book. And then open a little bit more. Um, and then another thing you can do if you are working on a song and there are some really wide vowels in there, um, if that's causing you issues, if it's not causing you issues, you know, don't mess with it. But if it's causing you issues, either you're falling flat pitch wise or you're straining, it doesn't feel good, then consider narrowing those vowels in. So, for example, if you have the vowel, say you're singing a, like may or something, or day. Maybe you turn that into da, da, instead of day, day. So when I say narrow, I mean literally you're closing your mouth a little bit more. It could be closing your mouth this way, it could be closing your mouth this way. But in general, when we're singing a high pitch, we're belting. Typically, our jaw's dropped and our mouth is pretty wide. But if it's overly wide and it's causing you issues, then narrowing in just a little bit can help you. Um, the answer to that question, my voice cracks when I try to reach a high note. Okay, so I have tons of things to help with that. Um, I will find some resources for you. But let's finish with loud singers, and then last 15 minutes I'll return to that and any other questions you all ask. I'm gonna first get a drink of water though. You might do the same if you want to. I spilled. Okay, so wide vowels, lack of access or connection to your head voice. If all you do is sing in chest voice, it's no wonder that you're louder than you want to be, because chest voice just inherently, the higher you go in chest voice, the louder you get. There's really no two ways about it. Um, so if that's you, I want you to use your head voice every single day. Head voice, if you're new here, that's the woo-hoo kind of sound as opposed to a hey, hey kind of sound. Um, you've got to sing in head voice. You've got to. I You just have to. um, so if that's you, use any sound that helps you access your chest, or sorry, your head voice. Any sound that helps you. Um, I like woohoo. Very simple, very easy. I like an owl hoot. Whoo, whoo. I like a cuckoo clock sound. Cuckoo. I like those vowels and those sounds in particular because they help us maintain some relaxed space in our throat and our mouth. Um, Anyways, if another sound works better for you, use that sound instead. But use your head voice every single day. It might be easier for you to access head voice on something semi closed. So try straw singing. See if you can transition. Oh, I got the salty end of the straw from when it was submerged before. Um, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. If it helps you to access your head voice through a straw or on something semi-closed, do that. Just do it. Um, and then try some top-down exercises. Remember, for quiet singers, I said do bottom-up exercises because we want to carry some of that chest voice weight up with us. For you, we want to carry some of that head voice lightness down. So exercises like wee, 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 or even going back and forth. So mum, 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 mum. And that's helping you access higher pitches overall, but also more lightness in those medium and low pitches as well. Um, Okay, I'm almost done with this. Finding mix balance or just balance overall for loud singers. I would first try narrow vowels and then gradually open. So I actually already demonstrated this. We went from ooh to That's a great thing to follow if you're a loud singer and you're used to kind of these overly wide vowels. Start really, really narrow. So, ooh, and then open just a little bit from ooh to and then rather than what you might be used to is just a and going flat and not quite getting that top pitch. Um, and then general advice again, find the pitch that you're trying to sing, find it in head voice first. If you can't sing it in head voice and you're going flat or straining in chest voice, it's just not a good place to be. You need some way to access that pitch. Okay, I'm done. Time for Q&A. So going back to um, Benny Seal, do you think it's a good idea for me to get a vocal coach? I mean, I think it's always a good idea, but it's not in everybody's budget, for one. Voice lessons are expensive. And, um, you know, my thought is do what you can with free resources online, like this, like others. And then if you feel like you're just not making any progress, then consider taking the next step. Um, I I think just speaking practically, that's what I would do. Um, and the nice thing is there are a lot of really great teachers online who put out a lot of free content. So look around, see what teachers you like, and then if you feel like, you know what, I'm not making progress, I need some personalized help, then you can look for that either in your area or online. I know since the pandemic, most voice teachers are still teaching online, even if they've gone back to in person. So, okay, but you were asking specifically about cracking when you're trying to reach a high note. So, I would say first, kind of similar advice to what we were just saying of access a pitch in head voice first. I would do the same thing. I would first try to just access that pitch on something like an oo or an e, something narrow and light, and then I would gradually add intensity and widen the vowel. Um, there are other reasons that you could be cracking. So let's just see what I have in that vein. Okay, so here's a live lesson all on voice cracks. It's another full hour, literally, on all the different reasons our voices crack and how to avoid that. Um, two more for you, and these are shorter. So this is less than 5 minutes, and it's avoiding cracking with skillful use of consonants. And then this is avoiding cracking by finding mix balance instead of just relying on chest voice. I think that's all I've got for you, but that is probably plenty. Okay, Nick had some questions. In May, I'm traveling to Scotland to see my best friend. He goes to karaoke most weekends. What advice do you have for singers returning to a live setting as I haven't done so in years? Have you had experiences like this? I'm fine with being able to set the mood for the song, but for example, the first fear that comes to mind is being too loud, singing in the microphone. Well, Nick, that's an easy fix. If you're too loud on the mic, you can always back away. If you're too quiet, that's I would say that's more of an issue. Um, but hopefully hopefully the sound person is sensitive to that. So let's say you're too loud and you're not backing away from the mic. Hopefully the person running sound would turn you down because they also don't want the mic like peaking and then squeaking at everybody. Um, but I would say remember that the setting when you're doing karaoke, it's casual. It is not like a performance where there are high stakes, we're not auditioning for something or, you know, I would say as much as you can enjoy it, have fun. It's not I don't know. I know any performance experience has the potential to be nerve-wracking. Um but karaoke, like just think about all of the terrible karaoke performances you've seen and people are like totally unbothered by sounding bad in front of other folks, um, and know that you're probably not going to be the worst person on the stage. This might be terrible advice I'm giving, but it's my advice. Stephanie is saying, I want to learn how to sing on the minor scale and pentatonic. I find it difficult staying in the scale. Um, okay. So I would say if it ever has something to do with staying in tune or staying on pitch, um, I would say we have to have something that's telling us what pitches we're singing, and hopefully we know what pitches we're intending to sing. Um, so it's a little bit tricky when we're doing this without a teacher. However, it is possible. Um, so what I would do is I would use an app. One is called Vocal Pitch Monitor, and here's the link for that. I believe it should be free. Last time I looked, it was free. Um, so the nice thing about that is you'll see if you open up that link, it shows you what pitches you're singing. It kind of graphs it out, and you can also say what scale you want to sing. So see, I'm taking a look. It looks like they have major and minor, but they might have pentatonic, and I'm just not seeing it. But um, at the very least, that would get you started, and you would see how close you are to the pitches within that scale. Um, to me, Stephanie, that's the only way to go about this without a teacher. You have to have something objective that's clearly showing you, yes, I'm in tune, or no, I'm not in tune. Um, Paolo, is it okay to do everything on falsetto when doing the mum 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 exercise? Because I crack a lot if I don't. Um, Paolo, that depends on your goals and your range. So if you're staying in falsetto lower than you really should be, for example, if I'm going mum 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 mum, there's no reason for me to be singing mum that low in head voice. The ideal is for me to mum 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 to transition in and out of my chest voice. So that's a question I can't exactly answer just, reading a question and not hearing you sing. Um, but I would say if you're cracking a lot on that, but you feel like you should be transitioning out of falsetto, I would try a different syllable. So maybe something like "bu" as in book, "bu bu bu bu," or "na na na na." Try something else to see if another syllable like vowel consonant combination helps you transition into chest voice and out of it. Cracking still might happen, but hopefully less. Um, Aw, Sheila, I'm thinking about you. I'm sorry that you're still sore and Sheila's recovering. Um, Working on D5 up and down, mostly in my mind and the straw. Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome, Sheila. I remember that I was where you are as well, like avoided my head voice for many years, and it was slow progress to get comfortable there and start to incorporate that into my voice. Adina saying, which video would you recommend I start with? I want to learn the basics. I did a lesson uh, for people asking that very question. Adina, it might take me a second to find, but just give me a minute. Okay, so Adina, here's one. Okay. Paolo's saying, yes, I feel like I should transition even though I crack. Um, Paolo, uh, okay, one thing at a time. Adina, I am answering your question right now. So these are for Adina. There's one that's like general steps of vocal progress. In I have another one though. I just can't remember exactly what it's called, so I'm scrolling through all the live lessons. Oh, this must have been a while ago. We've done a lot of these live lessons. Okay, your first voice lesson. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so Adina, I would also check that out because that I put together for a student like you who's like, I don't know where to start. I want to start singing. So yeah, check out those two. Okay, good. Nick, have fun. Song choice also. So Nick was asking about karaoke, and I think song choice can make or break you. So choose a song that you are comfortable with, that you are not concerned about any of the pitches in that song, and that you really can have fun with, as you say, the storytelling aspect. Um, Karen's asking, I want to ask how to get comfortable to sing the song "Easy on Me" by Adele. I love that song. Um, there are a few things, and actually, let me see what I've got on that song specifically, because I did a few short little TikTok videos. Um, Easy on Me. Alright, so here's one. This is to help you with the riffs. and this is on my personal channel. I thought there was another one. I think maybe that one is just on my TikTok page, not on my YouTube. But you can check that out at the very least. Um, I guess my other question for you, Karen, would be what do you feel like you're struggling with in Easy on Me? Because there are many, many things that you could work on, but what do you feel is tricky for you? The other thing I would say is choosing a good, comfortable key for your voice can make all the difference in the world. So if you feel like say the range is a little bit too high or a little bit too low, when you look for a karaoke track, search Easy on Me, karaoke, and then mine just auto populates lower key, male key, higher key, you know, all these different options. And the great thing is, usually for a popular song like that, you'll be able to find a few different keys to sing in. Um, so if you feel like you're just struggling with the range overall, consider a different key. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Um, I have I have this list I'm compiling. Let me see if I can share it on here. Okay, so I'm compiling this list. Um, it's more complete at the top, and then towards the end, it's not exactly complete. But if you are looking for easy songs to sing in a given range, you can check that out. Let me open it in an incognito window to make sure that it looks good. Oh, uh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think it's good. Anyways, it's just a Google Doc. But I have like soprano mezzo, alto, tenor, baritone, bass. Then I have a list of songs that span approximately one octave or less. And then at the bottom there, I have songs for myself to analyze and add because I hear them and I'm like, "Ooh, that would be good for someone," but I haven't put in the work yet to, you know, fully analyze. Okay. Dennis, I'm so confused because I don't know what exercises I should do daily and I don't know how I can find the best exercises for myself. Well, Dennis, that's difficult to find the best exercises for yourself. If you know what it is you need to work on, then that's one thing because you can search specifically for that. I would say probably the easiest solution would be finding your general comfortable range and then start start on some exercises or warm up routines within that range. Um, Let me grab a video or two for you. But again, questions like this are really difficult to answer without hearing you. Um, and some people, over time, people will kind of feel like, oh, okay, this singer does these high notes and I can't do them. So I want to work on high notes. Or, um, this singer uses their head voice and that's hard for me. So that's what I need to work on. I'll look for some head voice exercises. Um, okay. But, anyways, my general, easy start advice for you would be finding your range first. So here's a video for that. And then on the site or on our channel, there are warm-ups for the 6 main voice types. So, once you've determined, Dennis, which voice type you're closest to, whether that's soprano, alto, baritone, tenor, bass. I said those out of order, I don't know why. Anyways, um then you can search, baritone warm up or tenor warm up, whatever you end up being closest to. I would say that's a good place to start. Um, And then Karen was saying when I sing easy on me, I'm always running out of breath or I crack when the song is soft and getting louder. Yeah, okay. So I would say probably for both of those issues, I would drop the lyrics and I would sing on another syllable. So, for example, if you're cracking when she goes, "Go or something, um, you might sing instead on ba 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 ba, just to simplify things. That can also help you with breath support. But yeah, that's generally my advice is drop the lyrics, sing on something a little bit easier, use training wheels. I'm just grabbing an article for you that kind of goes through those steps that you can refer to. There you go. All right, my friends. Hopefully, I'm sounding better by Monday. No promises. We'll see. But that is when our next live lesson is scheduled for. So not very long. It'll be a little later in the day or earlier in the day. I have no idea. Just look at the channel. It'll be listed. All right. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Bye bye.